Good afternoon, guys. We're going to be talking a little bit more about domain and range today. Okay, we've already talked about discrete domain and discrete range. But what happens when our graph is continuous? Like this. We see that from this point to this point, there's no break in that graph. Now, you'll notice that the circle right here on the end, the point is colored in. That means it's going to be included in what we talk about. So let's talk about the domain. Okay, if we follow this graph all the way here to here, we know domain talks about x values, right? So we're going to go ahead and put that there. And since these endpoints are colored in, we are going to have inequalities. Since they're colored in, they're going to have the line on the bottom. Now, let's look at this graph. We know this is the x-axis, right? The furthest to the left for the x-axis is -5, and the largest on the x-axis is +5. So the domain is all real numbers between -5 and 5. All values between -5 and 5. The range, we're going to do it exactly the same, except for we're talking about y values. Okay? And the range is included because the line actually touches the highest and the lowest point on the graph. Okay? So the lowest point for the range, remember we're looking at the y-axis, is -3. And the highest value for the range is +3. Okay? All right. What does the arrow imply on this graph? Okay, what that means is that our graph is continuous in this direction. And by it continuously growing this way, it keeps going down to -infinity and to the left to -infinity. So that means our domain is going to be, our largest value for our domain is right here at 1, and it's included. So 1 is the largest value. It's going to be smaller or equal to 1. All x values are going to be smaller or equal to, less than or equal to 1. Okay? Now, the range, remember we're talking about the y values. The largest y value we have is 6. Y is going to be less than or equal to 6. Okay? The arrow means that it will continuously grow in that direction. All right. Let's take a look here. Our domain is our x values. So we're looking, here's the furthest left and here's the furthest right. Okay? They're both closed off. So my domain is going to look like this. It's going to have the line underneath my inequality. My smallest x value is at -4 and the largest is at 5. The range, the highest value is way up here at 4 and the lowest value is down here at -5. So it's going to be, we set it up exactly the same. The smallest value goes to the left, the larger value goes to the right. we've got arrows on both sides here. We can clearly see it's going in the positive infinity direction, right? Up. And so look at our domain. It's continuously growing in both directions, right? So the domain is going to be all real numbers because it will go from negative infinity all the way to positive infinity because those arrows are pointing it in both directions. Now we can see the range has a low point of -5. So the range, my y values are going to be greater than or equal to -5. And that's it for today, guys. Have a great day.